All right, let's talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is stored procedures. A quick tip, if you're interviewing someone for SQL and they say a stored procedure is basically a function, that's a good sign they actually understand what it is. Let's move on. That's just something I've kind of noticed when I've interviewed SQL developers. Like, if they say a stored procedure is basically a function, I'm more inclined to hire them because the people I've hired who've said that have been really bloody good with stored procedures. Anyways, let's move on. So, what are stored procedures? Is going to be our first topic, then how to write a stored procedure is our second, and how to execute a stored procedure is going to be our third. Woohoo! Let's do this. Uno, dos, tres. Woo! Anyways, I don't know. So, what is a stored procedure? A stored procedure is a prepared SQL code that you can save so the code can be reused repeatedly. How that connects to what a function is. A function, for my fellow coders, or at least the ones who actually understand what a function is a reusable block of code that you can execute whenever you want by calling its name. It's what you do when you have to rerun a certain computation repeatedly. Therefore, a stored procedure is basically a function. Let's go. So if you have an SQL query that you write repeatedly, like if you have code that you're going to be running repeatedly in a different language, you would make a function. In SQL, you make a stored procedure. So you can also pass parameters to stored procedures, just like you can pass arguments to functions. How do you write a stored procedure? To write a stored procedure, you write create procedure. If you're familiar with Python, it's basically the same thing as using the definition, the define keyword. Then you write the procedure name, just like in Python, with how a function, you would write the function name. Then you write as, and then you write your SQL statement in it. Just like how in Python, when you're making a function, yes, and I'm aware there's not a colon here, it's for an example. Anyways, you would write the code to be executed. This is why, if someone ever says in an interview, if you ask, oh, so I see you have TSQL experience on your resume, and you also have SQL experience and MySQL. Both of those have stored procedures. What do you know about that? And they say, it's basically a function. Hire them. They know what it is. When you're writing code, understanding the concepts at their fundamental level are it's far more important than understanding the exact syntax. You can look up syntax. You can't look up understanding. Let's continue. And then after you've written the code, you type go and then exclamation mark, which you should add at the end of pretty much any SQL query. Next, how to execute a stored procedure. You write exec for execute, followed by the procedure name and a semicolon. Just like how with a function, you would write the function name, followed by parentheses. That's another reason why stored procedures are they're basically just functions that you use in SQL. Anyways, thank you so much for thank you so much for watching my TED Talk. Anyways, I don't know. Hopefully you were able to be entertained by this. So, here's my email, here's my name. I am looking for employment right now. I really enjoy making databases, optimizing databases, doing indexing on databases, writing stored procedures to update databases. I have experience with PostgreSQL, MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, other than that, I've written in Python, I've written in Java, C++, C Sharp. I've even written in assembly. The joys of loading and unloading registers. Anyways, on top of that, I'm in the top 5% of the people who have taken the MySQL assessment on LinkedIn, and I'm in the top 5% of the people who've taken the Transact SQL assessment on LinkedIn. If that's any indicator to you that I know what I'm doing, please send me an email. I'm looking for employment. Again, personal plug. では、どうもありがとうございます。Tusen takk. Tschüss.